Hello and welcome to the Knatters Knits podcast. This is episode 12 and my name is Natalie, known everywhere on the internet as Knatters Knits, and welcome back to all of you who've come back, and thank you very much for doing that, and thank you too to those who are trying me out for the first time. I hope you'll enjoy the podcast. Each one is a little different each week, I hope, and I hope it's not all the boring same old. So, first of all, I'd like to introduce a few folk. First of all, for those of you who've met him before, this is Sheepy number one. Sheepy was bought me by my husband, and as you can see, he's a fairly large sheep. I think he's got four legs. Just one's disappeared there. So that's Sheepy number one, and Sheepy's well known to people like me. So hi. So that's Sheepy number one. And then, just so that, we couldn't have one sheep on their own, we'd have to have number two. And this one made an appearance on a knit night fairly recently. This one's made out of a boucle sort of yarn. I haven't made these myself, by the way. These are toys that are available by Keel Toys Limited, and can be found in our local hospital shops. So my husband works in the hospital, and every time he sees one, he buys it. So this is Sheepy number two. And then today, I was joined by Sheepy number three. Does that make me a shepherdess now? I've got three. This one, slightly differently, looks a bit like a llama. Let's bring it back here and then you can see it a bit better. This one, again made by Keel Toys. Registered product. Made in China, hand wash only, but not wool, but quite adorable. So that's we three sheep, just to prove all three of them together. And there is a sheepdog as well, but I won't bring him out today. 3 sheep is more than enough, I think. More than enough. So that's the silliness out of the way. Now, excuse me, Dangerous Book for Boys Cup coming up. Hot black currant today, because it's that sort of weather. And talking of that, I was taking some photographs to try and insert at the end of this podcast, and discovered some of my Australia photographs. And because the weather is so cold here, and I've had to de-ice the car this morning, and it's just generally, sort of 0 to 2 degrees centigrade Celsius, whatever you want to call it. I thought we'd have a little bit of Australian pictures as well at the end of the podcast, just to keep everybody feeling a little bit cheery. So, what have you been up to this week? As you know, probably if you've been watching before, I am late podcasting, and I'm very, very sorry about that, because it's been the weekend where I was attending the Christmas fair over in Fleetwood yesterday. And I did think about podcasting yesterday evening, but I'm really sorry, I fell asleep on the settee. I was so tired, with all the unloading, the loading, driving there, and it's a good about 15 miles, I think, from my house to there, and then driving all the way back again. I know probably for some of you in Australia and the States that's not very far, but believe me, with the British traffic, it's enough. So I went there yesterday, and don't get me wrong, it was a fantastic fair. The hotel was really good, the venue was nice and warm and clean, and the tables were right, and they'd done so much advertising, got loads of bodies in, but I just didn't make any money. I sold less than £30 worth of stuff. So it's made me think about what I'm going to do for the future. Is going to craft fairs the best way for me to sell my things? Especially when you're met with comments of, how much? That's expensive. And I'm not charging an awful lot for what I make, bearing in mind that it's all hand prepared, right from the fleece all the way through. And there's a lot of discussions about this topic going on the internet at the moment. From people like Woolly Wormhead, who's discussing about how much she gets paid or doesn't get paid, as the case may be, and she's living below the poverty line as a knitting designer. There was another post I saw on Facebook, in fact a couple of different posts on Facebook, about devaluing what we do and the fact that some of these craft fairs aren't craft fairs. This is no comment on the one I went to yesterday, because yesterday was really, really good, and it was remarked on by people attending it about how brilliant it was to see all the traditional crafts there and the fact that the things were handmade. Excuse me, I'm going to sneeze. But some fairs you go to are just full of, we'll pick it up from there and we'll sell it on. We'll pick it up from there, we'll sell it on. And that to me isn't a craft or a gift fair, not properly, where you've got true traditional crafts. I suppose it depends on whether you are a traditionalist at heart, doesn't it? So I've been thinking about that and just trying to work out really what to do, what to think, and what sort of things I should do in the future. I'm really not sure. I haven't quite made up my mind. I'd love to hear your comments either in the YouTube section below the video, or over on the Knatters Knits group on Ravelry. That's ravelry.com, Ravelry. You're very welcome to come and join us. We have got a knit along going on there at the moment, and that's just basically for you to post pictures of what you're making for other people, and I'll do a random drawing at the end just before Christmas. So do come along and pop onto there. So moving swiftly on, because I don't want to get too political, because I'm still thinking about what I want to do and I haven't decided what direction I'm going to take yet. I think I better start off with finished objects. So I have a couple. Two that I didn't tell you about last week, because again, as is my way, I hadn't even thought about these last week. But the first one is a Christmas bauble that I'm going to take along to the Christmas fair at work, sell it in aid of the retirement home that I work in. And this is just out of a mini skein that I had, so that's that one. Secondly is this one. Again, yet another random bauble. It's actually filled with fibre because I couldn't find my toy stuffing. Still don't know where I put that, but never mind. So that's number 2. And the only other finished object I've got, I'm so pleased. Yes, it's my Winter Wonder Shawl by Helen Stewart. Actually, I don't know why I say that, because it's by me. She designed it, but I made this. Here we go. And every section on this one, I don't know if you can see this, let's hold it up to the camera, is beaded. Yeah. And even the little picot edging that I finished off with has got little, I don't know if you can see these little beads at the end. Just about to see it, I think. So I think I'm going to put this up on my Etsy shop for sale, because although it's lovely, I don't know that white is really me. So here we go. And there. It is beautiful. It's made out of cotton. This was giddy hand. King Cole cotton. It makes it lovely and soft because it's King Cole. It's really nice. Then the slightly different colour, which was supposed to be the same and looked like it before I put them together, is Rowan Kid Silk Haze, and the beads are by a lady called Debbie Abrahams, and that's her packet. Debbie Abrahams beads. And the reason I've got these beads is because I wanted to show you how much preparation I go to trying to make sure I've got the right colour. So, I thought, well, maybe white beads. But no, white beads weren't meant to be. So I thought silver ones that were glass but with silver inside. No, that wasn't to be. So they're all silver coloured. And that's that one. So that is the Winter Wonder Shawl by Helen Stewart. It's part of Knit Vent 2015. Let's just put this down a bit and then you can see how it hangs and drapes. Could use a shawl pin, I suppose, as well. It's ever so pretty. It really is nice. And the mohair in this is just so luxurious. I really like it. So that's the Winter Wonder Shawl. Knit Event 2015 is like an advent calendar for knitters. Search it on Ravelry and you'll be able to see exactly what I'm on about. I think you can still subscribe. There should be about 6 patterns coming out so far. This was the first ever one, and it was an easy knit. It was just time consuming with all those beads, but I'm glad I did it because, as you can probably see, it is really worth it. There's the little beads at the end on the picot. Very, very much, excuse me for snivelling, I think I've got a cold coming, but I really, really like that one. So that's the Winter Wonder Shawl. Put that on my pile there. Right, so what else have I been up to? Not a lot. Excuse me, I think I'm taking my life in my hands, drinking hot black currently in a white shawl, but never mind. Put these beads out of the way. You may remember a few weeks ago I talked about buying a tool that I've ordered from Twig and Horn. We're a company, I think, in the States, and this is for measuring gauge, or tension as we call it in the UK. It arrived. There we go, Twig and Horn. As you can see along here, it's got a measurement gauge. Put your knitting needles in so you can work out which size when you've gone and rubbed the end off and you can't tell anymore. But what I like about it is this square here, and that's what I bought it for, because it's measuring down the side in centimetres that way, and inches that way and that way. You can measure exactly how many stitches per inch or per 4-inch square that you make. So there should be no excuse now for me making anything that isn't right, that doesn't fit. Watch this space. Now I've said that, there's no chance, is there? So that's arrived. I'm quite pleased with it. It's fairly light. It's feels like balsa wood, but I don't think it is. It's got metric and American sizes on it, so whether you want a size 10mm or American size 15, which is the same thing by the way, it's that one. So that's Twig and Horn, and we'll see how we get on with that one. But very useful. It means I don't have to keep getting at tape measures and trying to work it out and see whether I've done it right or not. So the next thing for me to arrive was a book. Now this book came about because I got bored during the week and started looking for podcasts to watch. Sadly, one of my favourite podcasts was, the name's gone now, how awfully embarrassing is that? Anyway, my favourite of all podcasts is No More. They've decided not to podcast anymore, with Darren and Amy. So I thought, well, I need to fill that space with having, I just got enough on my playlist that I like for me to be able to have, you know, when I've got peace and quiet in the evening, or on Saturday if my husband and the son are out, just for me to be able to enjoy the time, the space, and get on with it and watch it. And one of the ones I found was from a lady called Louise Zass Bangham. She's Inspiration Knits, and I think that's her and her daughters there. So that was glare on the screen, but that's Louise. And this is about playing with colour, about finding something for those single skeins that you've bought and you haven't a clue what to do with. Not that any of us do that, do we? No, never, never. And so this. It's called Knit Play Colour. You can find it by going to her website. She's Inspiration Knits. You can find it on Ravelry as well, so have a look that way. Knit Play Colour. 10 patterns with hundreds of possibilities, because every time you insert a different colour, you can do it differently. One of the ones that really caught my eye in this was something called Affinity. And that's a picture of the shawl. It probably doesn't do it a lot of justice, but the reason I like it is I've never ever thought, and it set off a thought pattern in my head, of doing something in a dark colour, and then, you know, where usually you would do, say, a snowflake motif, or some sort of pattern where you'd be doing 2 or 3 colour knitting. Well, instead of having loads of multiple balls, you just use one skein of your dark colour, and then maybe one skein like this that has got multiple colours, and you do your pattern in your multiple coloured yarn, which will give you a different effect. So I think I'm going to have a go at that. It sounds really, really fascinating, and I've got, as you've seen, plenty of skeins of yarn that are different colours. Just looking at them all in front of me. Yes, I've got loads of them. Excuse me, sorry. So I'm going to have a go at that. I don't know whether I'll use this pattern or whether it's just that inspiration. But again, this is another one that set it off. So it just made me think that actually, yes, it can. I could tame my wilder yarns, is what it says, by doing just that, using a dark colour or one single colour and then something with multiple colours. So that's knit play colour. Very nice that one was. Then today, I've forgotten all about it. I received this one in the post. The Scrumptious Collection, Volume 3, and it's a 5 of Spades book. Well, I've never even knitted with 5 of Spades yarn before. And why have I got this, you might say? Well, I got it because what came with it was a skein of 5 of Spades yarn. Now that just is nowhere near. If you think of a deep aubergine coloured purple, that's what this is like. Let's put it right back. Right back there. That's the colour. Not that. That looks blue. It's nowhere near blue. It's really dark purple, as you can see when it's next to my face. This is so soft and so squishy. I'm really looking forward to using this, but I'm not sure how yet. One of the patterns in here I thought I might just indulge myself with on a whim and make, but it's not quite the right tension and the right size. So what I'm going to have to do, and I can actually find the pattern in here, is a pattern called Lerin, which on this one is on page 45. And Lerin are some mittens designed by Rachel Coopy. And that is the picture of the Lerin mittens. You probably can't see it very well, so it'll be a nice surprise when I'm actually eventually finished them. So I think I might make them in this and make them for me. Why do we always feel My apologies there, I don't know what happened. My computer suddenly had to ping and that was it, it was gone. So I'm going to try and splice the two together, and if I make a real mess of it, I'm really, really sorry. So, moving very quickly on then, the next thing I've got is 2 skeins of this yarn, and I can't remember whether I showed it you last week or not. So I'm really, really sorry. Oh, I'm not. They're lovely. Really are. Can you see that? All tied up with a ribbon. This is, as you'll probably recognise, Goth Heart Creations. Oops, bring it back. And the colour is We Three Kings. And if you look, if you know anything about the Church of England, you'll know these are very, very traditional Christmassy colours: gold, frankincense, and myrrh. There are pops of purple. There are. What's it doing to me? Why is it playing up? There are pops of purple. There are pops of orange, blues, and the greens, obviously. Bright yellow. I love it. I really love it. And I've got 2 skeins of this. Now, I'm not sure what to make yet, and I don't know whether to wait for another 10 weeks or so, because for those of you who do watch Instagram, you will know that my daughter is expecting her first baby. This is daughter number 2. Daughter number 1's got a 14-year-old, but this is daughter number 2, and this is her first baby. So I'm really, really excited, another baby in the family. And if it's a boy, I might well make something out of this for him. But I'm not sure. So I'd appreciate your comments and your thoughts. There are 2 skeins, and it doesn't say how much is in a skein. I need to ask Ellie. This is her goth rock base. It's 75% superwash wool and 25% nylon. So it's going to be beautiful for doing things with. Just don't know what yet. It looks like greens around there. It's a bit darker than it shows there, but there's also the pop of orange. So I'm very happy. I've talked to you about my beads, and I've talked to you about my yarn. So what I'm doing at the moment as far as knitting is concerned is still doing the secret socks. I've nearly finished one now. Oh boy, has that boy got big feet. I've never done a sock as long as this before, ever. But still, it's a Christmas present, and I'm sure he'll love them, so that's the main thing, isn't it? I was thinking I'd have to make some hats, because I got a message from my brother who was looking on Facebook and saw a picture of the store, said, that one on the front, yeah, that one on the front, I want that one, can you send it me? Fortunately for him, I hadn't sold it, and he also wanted the hat behind the one in front as well. So I'm just about to go and put them in a parcel when I find the packaging around here somewhere. Yeah, you've no idea what sort of a winter wonderland of fibre packaging and goodness knows what else there is in here. So that's that. I am thinking about what else to do. I need another project. Whether I should... I suppose I ought to finish my work cardigan. Yeah, I do. I need to do so many things, and I don't know. I just don't know. Decisions. What to do next? Or whether to spend some more time spinning, because my poor spinning wheel over here has been a bit neglected. Actually, it has and it hasn't. Spinning hasn't been neglected. I've been teaching one of the ladies that I work with, and we've been just generally talking so far. But she's got one of my spinning wheels in her room at the moment in a bag of fibre. So come tomorrow, Mrs. D, you and I have a date with a spinning wheel. So that should be interesting. We'll see how she gets on with that. But apart from that, I've just been trying to ply. I don't know if you remember from a few weeks back. I don't know if it's going to come off this spool there. It's not wanting to play. It's very tight. Why is it very tight? This yarn. This was fibre from John Arbon, and is currently that's 2 lots. Oh, yeah. It's currently being spun up, and I'm just plying it, and it is beautiful. I still haven't made up my mind what I'm going to do, but it's going to be something for me. I'm getting the theme of this just recently. I'm thinking that yes, I spend a lot of time making for other people. It's about time I made some things for myself. So I'm going to do that. That's definitely what I'm going to do. The other things people have asked me to do, I've had to turn down so far. I've been trying to find a pattern for a shark sock. Some of you will probably have seen it on Ravelry. It's if you imagine your foot there, you put the sock on, and it looks as if the shark's opening up its jaw and sort of eating you. One of my friends wants that, one of the girls I work with, and I've been unsuccessful in getting the pattern. Now, the crochet one's freely available, but as you all know, I don't crochet. I have a friend who said she will skill swap, but she's pregnant, and I don't really want to ask her to have to do that. It's a lot of pressure to put on somebody else. So I really want to find the pattern for these socks. So if any of you has got a copy or is willing to let me have it, or if the lady who designed it is willing to negotiate with me, I really would like those socks to be able to give them as a present to my friend. The other one, and I've told her no, but how long this will be for no for, has asked me for an all-in-one bodysuit, like a onesie, knitted, and that's got some sort of face mask here. No, I don't think so, do you? You've got to love somebody an awful lot to make them that, because it's going to have to be an acrylic, and no way. So, what shall I do? Shall I keep just doing for me? Shall I do for other people? Shall I give up making to sell? Should I just do it online? Should I just concentrate on the Etsy shop, or should I do it more face to face? How do you all feel about that? What sort of things do you prefer to, how do you prefer to shop? And also, would you buy regularly from an Etsy shop? Do you buy regularly from an Etsy shop? It's all big, I'm not sure at the moment, very difficult to work out what to do. So I shall leave that as a conundrum really, because I haven't made up my mind yet. I know that I want to carry on knitting, and I know I want to carry on spinning, but when you spend £10 or £15 on a store, and then another £5 to £10 travelling with petrol and things, and then you only sell £30 worth of stuff, it's a no-brainer, you shouldn't be doing that. I just don't know. Even the big events like Woolfest, not that I've ever managed to get a store there, or Yarndale. I love going to them, and I will keep going to them, don't get me wrong, I'm not going to stop going, but whether I go as somebody who just goes to have a look, or whether I go because I want to sell things there, I don't know. Huge decisions. So if you have any thoughts, please let me know, and I'll let you know what I decide when I've decided. Okay, I'm going to wind up now because it's getting on to at least half an hour, I think, that I've been recording with the two bits spliced together. I will stick the photographs that I've got at the end if I can manage that. But by all means, get in touch with me, pop over onto the Ravelry group, come and look and see what people have been making other people for Christmas. Some lovely patterns in there. There's a couple of you posted now, and thank you for that. But I'd like to see more. Not because I want to water down what's there, but I want to make it, not the case of, it was either one or the other, but, quite a few people get the chance to do that, and to put pictures in for the draw. So, until next week, I will try and record again on Saturday, although I'm thinking about going to the Harrogate Knitting and Stitching show, and if I do, I will try and take some pictures, maybe a little bit of video, and I'll come back and let you know what it was like afterwards. If you don't know, if you're outside the UK and you don't know what the Harrogate Knitting and Stitching show is, or even if you are from in the UK and you don't know, go and have a look. Just put Harrogate, HARROGATE, Knitting and Stitching show, and go and see what's there. It's superb, it really is. So I shall love you and leave you. I'll see you again next week. Please keep in touch, keep warm, stay safe, and I hope you have a great week. I'll see you soon. Take care now. Bye bye.